Welcome to Washoe Life, podcast about life in Washoe County, where we interview really interesting people and interesting topics. And we are very excited to be here today. My name is Nancy Lewinhagen.
And I'm Bethany Drysdale, and we are talking to a couple of experts here. So I'm so excited that you guys are here. And this
Our
is
own experts.
Yes,
Washoe County experts. Yes.
So we'll let you introduce yourselves in just a second. But this is the first time that we're out in the field with this podcast. So it's very exciting. And I'm excited to be here in the greenhouse on the first day of spring that we're recording. It'll air later, but first day of spring that we're recording.
Happy spring, by the way. Happy spring, everybody. We are pleased to be talking to Washoe County's new Parks Operations Superintendent, Stephanie D'Arcy. Welcome, Stephanie. And we've also have our Washoe County Arborist here.
Correct. Horticulturist. Arborist.
Horticulturist.
But tell us what is the... Arborists are trees, but
Arborists are trees, and horticulturists are like ornamental plants, like, grasses, flowers, everything pretty.
But you know all of it, trees and everything.
So.
That's why I said arborist.
That's right.
Luke Sorenson.
Correct. Yeah.
By the way, welcome both of you. Thank you for joining us today. And we're going to get into some of the things that are going on here at Rancho San Rafael, which is where we're recording from today. But before we do that, shall we let our guests introduce themselves?
Yeah, we can stop talking. Stephanie, tell us about yourself. How you're not new to the county, but new to this role. So tell us about that.
So my first grown-up job was with the county. I started in 2006 in the Parks Department. I was hired as a recreation specialist, so I ran recreation programs, movies in the park. We did family concert series, those kinds of things. And then in the economic downturn, recreation kind of took a back seat, and I became the volunteer coordinator. And so I did that job for a few years, started that volunteer job from kind of scratch. We didn't have anything formal, so we started that. I then took a position with the Nevada Discovery Museum. It was a startup science center that hadn't opened yet, so it was really exciting, and I was there for 10 years. During my time there, I moved from volunteer coordinator to the chief operating officer. And then finally, I really wanted to get back to my love of Parks and Rec. I moved to the City of Sparks and did recreation management at the City of Sparks, and now I'm back. So I'm very pleased to be back at Washoe County, where it all kind of started for me.
Well, we're so glad to have you back.
You're the operations superintendent. So what exactly does that mean?
Great question. It's different every day, which is actually part of the reason I love it. It's very dynamic. It's a mix of setting vision for the department, hands-on management of projects, and moving them forward, but also being a huge advocate for the staff. We have an amazing staff who are very dedicated, so advocating for them and getting them the resources that they need to really be successful.
Can you tell us about some of the parks projects that people could be looking forward to this summer? Knowing you, I know you have a couple.
It's never ending, but we are waiting for the new inclusive playground to break ground here at Rancho San Rafael. We're very excited about being able to offer a new playground that is accessible to all. So if we have kiddos in wheelchairs or have different mobilities, they'll be able to participate and play right along with their friends. So we're very excited to get that program started, or that project started.
So no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
What does that look like? What does an inclusive playground look like?
So the ramps are different. There's different access. We make sure that the bathrooms that are attached to it have appropriate ADA accessibility. The play structure on the bottom is not loose, so that wheelchairs can roll through it. There are lots of different, the swings are wider, they're larger. There's lots of different ways that we can make playgrounds more accessible. And that's kind of the plan here, is get as many kiddos on there as possible.
So for context, for those people who may or may not have known, there used to be a Great Basin. Is that around, what was it, Adventure Park? Or
it's actually going to replace the current playground that's here.
Oh, the current, okay. So
that playground had reached kind of the end of its useful life. And so, what better than to replace it with something that's even more inclusive and will be even better used.
That's amazing. And Rancho San Rafael, one of our signature parks.
Premier, absolutely.
Absolutely. How about infrastructure projects? Do we have some of those?
We've got a ton of trail work that's going to be done out at Hidden Valley. Where, unfortunately the flood came through and did quite a bit of damage out at that park. And we're working very, very hard, our planning and our trails team to really do some improvements to make them safe and accessible, and also a little bit more sturdy should there be any sort of flood again. We don't expect that, but you never
Things
know.
get washed out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It is. And not to dwell too much on destruction,
Of
but
course.
Hidden Valley was hit pretty hard, and your staff really scrambled to at least clear the mud and get that open as much as possible. I know the tennis courts were really impacted. Is everything open now at this point, or?
Everything is open. It may look a little different than it did beforehand. We've really had to work on the drainage, and we're working hard to get access to the trails to be as accessible as they were before. So everything's open, but it's ongoing work. It's work that just needs to continue.
How many? Do we only have 2 dog parks? When you're saying that Hidden Valley, is the dog park back open?
Yes, it is.
We have a dog park here at Rancho.
We do. We have an off-use or a multi-use pasture that is often referred to as the dog park. We have there's plans for future. The Rangers came up with actually a really wonderful program where those sports fields in those off seasons when they're not being utilized by kids playing sports, we have that as an off-leash dog area as well. So there's multiple places throughout the county that you can take your dog off a leash.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say if you have a favorite park or recreation area?
That's a tough question.
That is really tough. Obviously Rancho, I think, holds a special place in most people's hearts who've been in this community. But I don't know that I want to pick a favorite. They all have their own special.
It's very diplomatic of you. All right.
Like that.
Like children, you can't pick your favorite one.
Okay. So, Luke, we won't make you stand here too long without talking.
Oh, thank you.
You've been on the podcast before. It was almost exactly 2 years ago.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It was all 2023. So,
Okay.
So thanks for coming back. I guess we didn't scare you off too much.
Not too bad.
Okay, good. So tell us about your job. What do you do?
So my job is really to maintain and make sure that the May Arboretum which is within Rancho Santa Fe Park, to have all the trees growing well, making sure that they're all healthy, all the flowers are going in, having a safe, nice area for people to do like a Sunday stroll, just a nice shaded area. So it's a collection of trees. That's what an arboretum is. So it's kind of a museum. So we have all these plants all across the continents, every continent except for Antarctica, of course. But, we have trees from all around the world, and we love to showcase it. It's kind of like a bragging right, per se.
Yeah.
Well, in this building that we're in, we just opened this, I think 2019, the greenhouse. This is new.
This is new, and it is a game changer.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. So we used to, kind of beg and have the community come and help and, give us donations. But here we can actually grow our own plants, do it in-house. The cost is so much less, and it's just unbelievable of just the amount of varieties that we can grow, and it's just grown locally and planted locally.
This is pretty incredible. And I'm looking at everything that I feel like if I get too close, they'll just die, because that's what plants do. They just die on me, and I can't.
We have
keep
Luke
anything
here.
alive.
That's
I
right.
know.
It's good. It's good.
So tell me, I'm going to pick your brains. I'm sure I'm not the only one who kills everything.
Okay.
Okay. Is it too early to prune or too late to prune? When are you supposed to prune?
So with your trees, most of your trees, you're at the very tail end season. If not, winter is like the best time to do everything because it's dormant, all the energy's in the roots. So when they come up in the spring, you have that flush green growth. As far as like your roses, usually when the forsythia blooms, which is about this week, that's the key indicator. Like spring is here, I can prune my roses, I can get my yard ready, things like that. So I mean, with people with yards, things like that, especially in your neck of the woods, I love the saying, he who rakes last rakes least. So hopefully the winter winds kind of blew your leaves to your neighbors.
Love that.
We're supposed to rake?
Yes. He who rakes last rakes least.
How about he who rakes never? She who rakes never.
Okay, speaking of quotes, I read an article in Edible Reno Tahoe this week. They interviewed our master gardeners. And I thought it was a great article and talked a lot about the work that you guys do here and with all those fantastic people. But they said gardening in northern Nevada is a contact sport.
Oh, it's a struggle. It is. I mean, the soil's one of the worst in the country. We only get about 6 to 7 inches of rain a year, so it's a challenge trying to make all the plants live happily with one another.
But that's why we have you, right?
Correct. I try and help people grow plants.
Is the pea vine rule true?
The pea vine rule is 100% true.
Okay, so tell our listeners what
So
that
what it is that it's the old wives' tale. If there's snow on the mountain, it's not time to plant your tomatoes. Keep them inside until there's no snow on the mountain. That means the soil is warm enough and the roots will just enjoy all that expansion in the soil.
Okay.
Well, we've got that part.
I have been able to grow tomatoes. That's one thing that I've been able to do. But it seems like every year the growing season changes and sometimes it's really short and I don't know what tomatoes to buy. How do you keep up with the varying growing season here?
It all depends. You have to look at the weather all the time. Farmer's Almanac is, kind of hard for our area, but really our actual last frost date, generally, averagely, is May 15th.
Got it.
Okay.
So, I mean, we've seen it snow in July, June, every month of the year, essentially, if you've been here long enough. So it all depends. This year seems like kind of a warmer year, but don't be fooled. We're always going to have some sort of cold snap in May. So just beware around May 15th. You should look at the weather and plan accordingly.
And even because we can get snow any month of the year here, correct? Even if you get that snow, it doesn't mean it's over, like a late spring.
No, you can cover your plants for just a little bit, but it's only going to freeze for a certain amount of time.
Well, we asked Stephanie about her favorite park.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to ask you, do you have a favorite plant?
Favorite plant?
Or something that, let's just stick to your garden. Anything favorite that you have year to year that you would put in?
I love bachelor buttons. I love just the wild look that they have. Blue color. They're pretty easy, hardy to grow. Maybe not for you, Bethany, but, even everyone could probably do it. You just throw it out and come July, you'll find these beautiful white little pincushion flowers, essentially, but they're going to be like a little pineapple look with a blue tuft-on. That's
okay. Oh, I know. All right. When he said, I was like, what's the word? Bachelor?
Bachelor buttons.
Oh,
I've heard of that. And I really like the rabbit brush. It's beautiful, but I get within like half a mile and I'm sneezing like crazy. So are there some natural plants that people should be looking at? Some native plants that people should be looking at for their gardens?
What we're trying to do is more like narrow leaf milkweed. That's the native milkweed to, the Great Basin area.
Okay.
And so that's a very useful plant for the monarch butterflies. I mean, here every year we spot about 30. I mean, it's kind of like a daily occurrence of, oh, there's a monarch. I mean, they'll actually land on you, which is quite impressive. But, these milkweeds are such an important food source for them, laying eggs like that. So we try and encourage people it may not be the prettiest flower, but it's very low maintenance and it will do great wonders to every environment.
is this your office?
The whole 13 acres is my office here.
Because my blood pressure instantly came down when I walked in here.
Yeah.
I love this place. It's just so serene.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're trying to deck out the greenhouse some more, making sure that it's more climate controlled. We're going to put in cameras. So if I'm up at 3 a.m., I'm like, oh, what are these marigolds doing right here? Making sure everything's perfect.
And so you are here at the Arboretum and at Rancho, but I don't know who this question is for, but do you take what you know here and, apply it to other parks around the county? Do we just let the parks, bloom free, or do we try to place any particular plants in the various parks and cultivate them?
Well, we have a really dedicated maintenance staff that help with everything green that's in the parks that's not the Arboretum, but Luke is obviously always going to be our subject matter expert. So if there are questions or concerns or whatever, we're lucky enough to have him on our team that he can help support that.
That's so nice to have the guru here, right? And I believe we're going to get a tour. Do we have a plant that's how old? What did you guys say how old that plant is behind us?
Oh, it's about 30 years old, this guy right here.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, see, I'm not going to
That's
get
a
too close.
teaser.
I'll kill it.
That's a teaser. Should we have him give us a tour?
We should, and you should also explain, I think of these in kind of lower desert. We're high desert here.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I feel like I'm the only person who lives in a high desert who has killed a cactus. So
How do you kill a cactus?
I think I overwatered it.
Too much love?
Yeah, too much love. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, do you want to walk us around and kind of show us what we're looking at?
Yes. So this table behind us right now these were all donated plants about a couple months ago. a cactus enthusiast. It's amazing what this guy had in his collection. So we have, golden barrel, echevias, saguaros. Himalayan old man is the actual term for this cactus.
Wait, that like white one right there?
Correct.
That's hilarious.
The fuzziness
Yeah.
coming out. Looks like an old beard.
Whiskers.
Is that the official name?
That is the official.
Himalayan old man. There's a
love it.
cactus name. That's great.
So these guys, they're all, very special and unique. Sometimes we have to do some research because currently we're in the process of developing a cactus and succulent garden. So most of these plants in here will be planted outside because Denver, Colorado has a good cactus garden as well. So we're trying to have a local community area where you can have more of a drought tolerant, xeriscape, low water, and yard example. So here we have all of our unique cactuses behind us here or in front of us. These are all the, succulents, more of the ground cover that we can do. Hens and chicks, ice plants, things like that. You can see some of them are blooming already. And
Hens and chicks.
hens and chicks.
Look at.
So what's really cool about these is that you see these little guys coming off of the mother plant.
Yeah.
So this is a pup right here. And you can just take them out and then just replant them and they will just continue on.
And this looks pretty dry. So obviously I do overwater everything.
Oh, yeah. So,
How often do these get watered?
I mean, we water them as well, but once every 4 days.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's really not
No.
a high maintenance plant.
Uh-uh.
But it all depends on the season you want. If they start turning red like this, they're having some sort of stress factor.
Oh. But the red looks so pretty.
It does. It does.
Okay.
It fools you.
Yeah, it does.
What's
Wow.
good ground cover? I see some like purple that looks like it's spreading pretty well.
Yeah, so all that over there is sedums. So if it has more of a, jello kind of texture to it, like very juicy to it, that's usually a sedum. Those do absolutely wonderful. Blooms here, they have tall sedums. This one is more of a low-growing, creeping kind of a deal, where you put it under your plants, put it under your trees, and it has that natural, lush look to it without a lot of effort.
Okay. So what's on the other side here?
These are pretty much the same. We're just trying to produce as many flats as we can where we can just go in, plant, because we have to fill about 2 acres worth.
Oh wow.
And where?
So-
Where are these plants going to go?
These are going to go in the 11 undeveloped acres of the May Arboretum.
Oh. Okay.
It's really just a couple 100 yards away from here.
Right. And is that like where everybody walks through the paths and
This one's going to be just at the top of the plateau.
Okay. Nice. All right. When you come to the Reno balloon races, what will these look like?
So some of these will be planted. We also have some test subjects out there already. We're trying to test the plants, see if they make it. And there are going to be some test subjects. There's going to be some orange cones around it. So don't go in it, but please come out and look. Don't touch because
Remember all the work our arborist Luke
Yes.
has put into this and in the staff here at Washoe County.
So in this greenhouse, we usually produce about 7,000 plants and then another 14,000 to sell at a plant sale. So it's
Oh wow.
quite the process of trying to make sure everyone is happy, well-watered, and ready to go.
And I've heard of the plant sale before. Is that a pretty big moneymaker for
It is.
Arboretum?
Yeah, it is a good support. We've been doing it for, I want to say, over 35 years. And it is just a good moneymaker for us to help, help our addiction with plants. We love planting. We love taking it.
It's a good vice. Yeah.
And we just love doing it. And it'll be about May 15th again, is usually when the plant sale is.
Okay. All right.
Here.
It'll be just in the front parking lot.
Yeah, at Rancho.
Okay.
All right, what do we have over here? Let's move over to another big long table of these are not looking like ground cover.
So we have yuccas, hesperallos. These little bush guys, you can see there's huge spikes coming off of them. Those are ocotillos, and they are technically not supposed to grow here, but we kind of got a nice variety from seeds from Colorado, making sure that, hey, this is most likely going to survive in your climate. We also have an amazing choyas over here.
Oh, those are the ones that jump at you, aren't they?
Jumping cactus,
What?
yeah.
What?
Oh,
What?
I've tangled with those.
If you brush up against them, they'll
They'll come out.
come up and be your best friend.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have those in Illinois,
tangled with
Luke, where I grew up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Doesn't look like corn.
So these guys, they're just an amazing plant. They love the low water. They'll shed their leaves and bring out new leaves maybe 2-3 times a year. Whenever there's a huge flush of rain, it'll actually leaf out and cause a new section to grow.
Wow. This is amazing. Before we let you go,
Oh, yeah.
young man, how do you get all this knowledge? For anyone interested in this.
So I did get certifications. I also went to college, got a degree, but it really is generations, to tell you the truth. So my family has been in Nevada for generations. They've been landscape architects, landscapers, arborists. And so it's a lot of, if I didn't be in this industry, if I wasn't in it, I would probably be haunted by them, just ancestors.
Fantastic.
So it's kind of like, it has to be in my blood and there's no escape.
Oh, and the work that we're doing. And Stephanie, I would think as the leader of this group of people, how proud you must be to work among subject matter experts like yourself.
Absolutely. Because anytime you come to a new-ish organization, and with a new group of staff, you're always, what are we going to get? And I have not been anything but incredibly impressed with the dedication and the passion that our staff has for parks and recreation and open space management. And it's just really impressive, and it makes me very lucky.
Yeah. And so all this work they're doing, yes, you can come see it out at the park.
We are lucky to have both of you. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for letting us come in and see the greenhouse. I hadn't been up here yet. I probably should admit that, but
now you have.
Now everybody knows. But thank you for this, and I'll let you know if I actually can grow anything this spring.
We believe in you.
Well, now you can because you've talked to the experts.
Right. Need to suck off your energy.
Yes. Stephanie and Luke, thank you so much. And we thank you. Until next time, Washoe Life.